Hello. So it looks like we're live.
We
have to do it. Are we live? Are we live? Are we live?
I've got nothing yet, so
We're not live.
Yeah, we're going to wait until we get confirmation.
oh, there we go.
We're live.
We're live.
Excellent.
The notification.
Excellent. So I think we're all live. I think the microphone's picking us up. So good. And yeah, well, welcome to the Tuesday tune-in. Slightly different today because it's just myself and Fee. Andy is not actually here today. He's actually off doing some, initially it was some high altitude training, very high actually. He got to around 30,000 feet at one point. And obviously, you know, we all know that to acclimatize, we have to go high and come low. And it just so happened that when he came low, he was over a beach. But he will be going back up to around 30,000 feet and joining us next week. So yeah, but for now, I thought it'd be an awesome time to introduce the lovely Fee. Yeah. So hey, hello everybody. Hello Brian, Paul, Dave, Tamrin, Miko, Patrick. Awesome. Yeah. So we're going to do this is almost going to be sort of a show of two halves. So the first bit we're going to introduce Fee and we're going to talk a bit to Fee and do some questions. So a little bit of quick fire get to know, and then we'll move on to the topic of the live, which is going to be all around high altitude and trekking above sea level and what that's like. So yeah. Hi Fee.
Hi.
Yeah, just so you all know, I'm not actually this much taller than Fee. Fee is actually quite a bit back. The camera doesn't, yeah. But excellent, yeah. So Fee is our project manager.
Project manager.
Project manager, yeah. Brought on to do all the real important stuff that we're either not capable of or don't have the time to do. So yeah, Fee's going to be doing some really awesome projects and getting some really cool stuff off the ground as well. So yeah. And all the exciting stuff you see that we're going to be announcing in the future is going to have Fee behind it, driving it that way. Yeah, excellent. Hello, Alexandra. Hello, Mark, Haley, Pablo, Simon, Sarah. Right, should we get right into it then, shall we?
Questions.
Yeah, so Lauren is actually, you know, Lauren on the phones is going to, is going to be asking some quick fires at us.
We're going to answer.
And we're going to answer, yeah.
I vote Dave, you answer first, then Fee.
I was going to say, or do we just get in first?
Or yeah, I mean, if you've got the golden answer.
Oh, why did we get buzzers?
Oh, buzzers.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, so yeah, so quick fire round, random questions, so you can get to know a little bit about us, mainly Fee.
Yeah, this is not good. It's slightly scary.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
We're ready. Let's do it.
Hot or cold?
Cold.
Hot.
Tea or coffee?
Tea.
Beer or wine?
Wine.
Beer.
What's your favourite smell?
Oh,
And can we have a throwback to when it was me and Jen answering
yeah,
this?
I really enjoy the smell of fire in the morning.
The best answer ever.
Best.
Fire in the morning.
Fire, particularly in the morning.
Yeah. I don't know what you call it. Seaside breeze. You know that smell when you drive to the beach and you got the window open and you can tell the beach is getting close.
Nice.
Yeah.
That smell.
That's a good smell.
Yeah.
That's a good smell. Not as good as fire in the morning, but.
Are you actually going with fire in the morning as well?
Fire at night.
Fire in the mid-afternoon.
Yeah, a mid-afternoon fire.
Oh, I think that question's going to come up in a minute.
Excellent. Oh, Ramona, she's always there.
That's a standard question.
Oh, see, I knew this. We're gonna have to answer their questions. What's the tea like in Nepal? It's very nice. They do masala tea quite a lot. It's like a chai tea
nice.
with and you can any type of tea, honey and ginger tea, lemon tea. Yeah, loads. It's really good.
I was going to say garlic tea, but that's a soup, isn't it?
Ooh,
That should never happen.
That's just not.
that's not quite like a good tea.
What is your favourite word? This is what he asked me. I'm getting my payback.
Favourite word?
Yeah.
Bamboozled.
That's
Nice.
a good word. Actually, that's too. I'm going to have to come back to that.
Yeah.
That's too difficult.
You're not going to like this next one.
Okay.
What's your least favourite word?
Oh, moist.
That was my answer. Yeah.
We're on the same wavelength.
Least favorite word? I don't know. More of a phrase, really. Can you help me lift this? Is this one I don't really know? I really don't like.
Describe yourself as a teenager in 3 words.
Oh, gothic. Not quite a goth. Goth, depressing.
Drunk.
Smoky and drunk. Yeah.
I don't know. talkative, irritating, and hyperactive.
Same as now.
Same as now, I guess. Yeah.
Cats or dogs, and we can also twist this, Penny or Cooper.
Oh. Oh.
Okay. Cats.
I I love dogs. I'm very much team dogs, but I do also love cats. And my cat is watching. He is an evil overlord. Will destroy me if I don't say cats. I think I'm going to have to say cats.
You know the
Cats
safest answer
The
is
safe
cats.
answer is cats.
John has come up with a good word, by the way, defenestrated. We talk
Ooh.
about this. It means to throw someone through a window.
Wow.
As
Yeah.
in
Trust John.
isn't the French word for window something to do with
Fenestrate?
something? Someone will tell us. Somebody speaks
Yeah,
French.
I think there's
Is there
some.
some link to the French word for window there?
Yeah, there's the defenestration of Prague. That's all I know
Wow.
about it. I think so. In
All
Prague,
the windows
they-
got put through in Prague.
no, they put someone through a window in Prague. I think
Well.
it's topical. Yeah.
Okay, if your house was on fire, what 2 things would you run back in to get?
My boyfriend and my cat.
You're safe, Tom. You're safe.
I like that he couldn't get out on his own. You have to go in. Like,
He'd probably be out before me, but if that was the only,
it's a good answer.
yeah,
Yeah.
just erring on the side of caution there.
I don't own a lot. It took me 4 hours to move. I would grab my PlayStation because I'd need it, and I don't know.
Fenetra
my
in
van
French,
keys.
that's it. I'm similar
Keys.
in
I grab my
Welsh.
keys.
Interesting. Fenetra is the Welsh.
Is this
word,
Ramona?
the French word for
Ramona knows a lot about windows and buildings.
Pablo was telling you.
Oh, Pablo, nice,
You
nice.
don't scroll to the bottom there.
Oh yeah, fenestrate.
And I don't
Yeah.
want to try and pronounce it in Welsh.
Yeah.
Mountains or sea?
Oh, it's got to be mountains, isn't it?
Mountains.
Guys?
Oh, yeah, mountains definitely.
If you had a superhero power, what would it be?
Oh, that's
I can make food disappear like that.
good. If you had a power that you
If
don't
you-
already have.
Oh, so I have to choose one that
Yeah.
I don't already
You
have.
don't have.
Teleportation. I would have.
No.
Yeah, you know me and planes.
Yeah.
Don't like it.
Teleportation's good. I don't know. If I say invisible, it's a bit creepy, isn't it? Invisibility. It's creepy
That's
and
my
pervy.
second go.
Yeah.
I'll do that.
Yeah. I mean, so if you're looking out of a window at night and you see it like mist up next to you, it's Fee. She snuck in.
What's the last song you listened to?
Oh, the one that Dave was singing earlier.
Which one was that?
The Peter Kay.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
Peter Kay misheard lyrics.
But it was an actual song.
It was an actual song, yeah. What do you get if you fall in love? I don't know who does that. Was it the Carpenters?
No.
No.
That was not.
The last song I listened to, other than I think it was a Rob Zombie song.
Nice.
I can't say it because it's got a swear word in it. Yeah.
Very, very.
I've just been listening to podcasts recently, so I haven't listened to music for
Yeah.
a really long time because I'm obsessed to listening.
What's your
to
podcast?
My Favourite Murder is what I'm listening to currently.
You are going to be the
consistently.
creepy one. You're like invisibility, murder.
Yeah.
I'm going to dive
I'm all
in
about
quickly just to interject.
Go
What's
for
your
it.
favourite song or kind of music?
Oh gosh, that's really difficult. That's too hard.
Okay,
Favourite song.
we'll come back. Tent or Caravan or Under the Stars?
These are too good. 10 or I really I'd like a nice caravan.
A nice caravan,
like a
excellent.
glamping style.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Gypsy,
Hotel? Is that an
Romany
option?
caravan, something like that.
yeah.
That would be nice.
Uphill or downhill?
Downhill,
Yeah,
100%.
These guys have got better questions than
Yeah.
me.
that's not true.
If you had a spirit animal, what would it be?
Oh,
The
that's a good
sloth?
question.
Nice.
Yeah,
Sloth
Yeah.
is good.
maybe a turtle.
These are too hard. Cat, maybe just average cat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See, I could
be a
see
fancy cat. Fluffy one.
I just need to look at these questions earlier. Wasn't
I
one of
know.
them spirit? Is this coming next? What's the next one?
That was what I just
See,
asked.
Dave's
Spirit
seen
animal.
these
Spirit animal.
questions, by the way.
Yeah, but
Shall
there
I
was
have
another
them?
one. What have you written next to animal there in brackets?
Or demon, because I was going to say.
Oh,
Spirit
for
demon.
No, I was going to, for any Philip Pullman fans out there, it would be your demon.
Oh, look,
demon,
he
yeah,
spells that
that's true.
D-A-E.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But you don't choose that. They
They choose you.
choose you. So
yeah.
I thought mine would be a badger.
Badger's good. Badger's a
Pretty good.
pretty good.
It's a bit friendly and then like really aggressive. What's the strangest thing you've ever eaten?
Strangest thing I've ever eaten. I drank a load of gone-off milk once by accident. Does that count?
No, I'll take it.
It was pretty strange. I mean, I thought, wow, that was strange.
I've eaten ostrich. I've eaten kangaroo back in the days when I ate meat. I don't eat meat anymore. But when I did, I've eaten those things, which I don't feel great about really. But yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Leah has said, isn't your spirit animal a koala?
Oh, yes. Competition.
I need to ask you some questions now because you were asking all the other ones earlier.
Okay,
so,
go ahead.
So Marmite question mark.
Love it.
Love it. Yeah, absolutely. Correct answer. Tortoise or hare?
Hare.
Oh,
No,
really?
sorry, I got that completely wrong. Tortoise. Tortoise.
That's why we both went, really?
Tortoise, yeah.
Tortoise. Anything else? No more questions.
Excellent.
Just comments.
Oh, John has said about the cat crumb. I think I told you guys about that the other day. We won't bring it up.
Oh, no, you
What's
have
cat
to.
crumb?
I can't do
This
that.
is the strangest thing you've ever eaten. Tell the people.
Crumb.
Yeah, I had a cat called Puzzle that was
Oh,
sat,
no, I know the story.
Yeah.
Oh,
and it was sat on my lap and I was eating a chocolate muffin and, as bits were falling down. After I ate the muffin, I shifted the cat and I was picking up little bits of what I thought was muffin, but it wasn't. It was deposited by a cat.
Oh.
It was the cat crumb.
Cat bum crumb.
The cat bum crumb, yeah. It was the cat bum crumb, yeah.
Enjoy.
That's the weirdest thing I've ever eaten.
I think that's the weirdest thing anybody has ever eaten.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Just on your desk. Okay, this is my last one, which only came
Hooray.
up because everyone went, I can't think what the answer would be. What is the saddest film you've ever seen?
Oh, saddest one, Blackfish.
It's because we were just
Strong,
talking
yeah.
about
It was pretty sad though, yeah.
It's not a sad film, but the film that makes me cry the most is It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh.
I watched that for Christmas and bawl my eyes out from when he finds Zuzu's petals in his pocket. Zuzu's petals.
Don't stop.
My God. But yeah,
Haven't seen it.
very emotional. You've never seen It's a Wonderful
What
Life?
do you do at
Never seen
Christmas?
it. I watch, there's a Christmas panto, usually.
You're such a child.
Yeah, with Neil Morrissey in it, I think.
Nice.
Yeah, watch that about 4 or 5 times. Vicar of Dibley, yeah. Yeah.
Strong Christmas viewing.
Excellent.
The story is very upsetting.
Yeah.
It really is.
Alexandra agrees that story is so
Very
upsetting.
upsetting. Eating out or eating in?
Eating out.
Yeah.
I don't like washing up.
Although eating in can be good if it's nice to cook stuff yourself. I enjoy eating in too, but yeah, eating out is better. I think.
Definitely.
And the strangest experience you've ever had, says Ali. I'm going to ask you that. What's your strangest experience, Dave?
Being woken up in Gorak by someone shouting "hello" in the middle of the
In the
night because
room.
they were locked in the room.
Oh.
They were locked in the room next door, and Gorak Shep and I woke up, and I was like, I could hear like "hello," and I was like, "Nah, hello," and I was like, "What?" And then I remember being like, "What's happening here?" And then it turned out that someone was like walking down the corridor in the dark and slid the bolt across. So this person, actually she was a cardiologist from Wales.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, almost gave me a heart attack.
Hey.
That was true though. She was a cardiologist from Wales. The perfect person you want to have next door to you in Gorak, a cardiologist who understands your accent. Excellent.
I have to say, I do like Leah's answer for the Christmas movie. It's quite controversial with Die Hard.
Definitely a Christmas movie.
Is it or isn't it?
100%
It is
a Christmas movie. 100% a Christmas
As is
movie.
Gremlins.
Oh, Gremlins,
Christmas
God, yeah.
movie.
Yeah. Die Hard's a brilliant Christmas movie. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, yippee-ki-yay, melon farmers. So excellent. There we are.
Can I go now?
The lovely thing. Yeah, you can go. We'll
Because
try and
I'm
time
not
this
enjoying
perfectly. Anyway, thank you, Fee.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Bye.
And he slides effortlessly back into the center. Excellent, guys. Yeah, so there we are, the lovely Fee. And now we're going to talk about what I've set aside this the live to be about was, I thought we haven't talked about it in a while, although it does come up every now and again. So this is all going to be about altitude, what it's like to trek above sea level, how to manage your body and your mind to stay motivated, to stay healthy, and things you can do before you even leave the UK to actually start preparing the body for altitude, because there's a lot of interesting facts coming out and about about what you can and can't do. So yeah, first thing I thought I would do is talk about, you know, when you're actually at altitude, there's some really good basic rules that you can follow that'll just make everything work for you. So I think the one is pace. So when we're talking about the tortoise and the hare, you definitely want to be the tortoise when you're at altitude. You want to walk slow, you want to take it easy, and you want to enjoy yourself. It's not about who gets, you know, to base camp or the top of Kilimanjaro fastest or first. It's about who gets there in the best condition to enjoy themselves when they're there, because that's what it's all about. You know, we're not a race where we do this ultimately because we enjoy it, even if it's only in retrospect sometimes. But yeah, so that's the one thing. Second thing that we always talk about is hydration. You know, when you're at altitude, the body is going through a lot of changes to make sure that it functions properly. One of those changes is that it will naturally dehydrate itself in order to be able to cope with the altitude. And when you couple that with exercise, sweating, and all of that sort of stuff anyway, you're going to dehydrate very fast and very quickly. As soon as you do, altitude will see its moment, nip into your brain and make you ill. So drinking at least 4 liters a day, I recommend. I'd probably drink between realistically 3 and 5, depending on the type of day I'm having. But I'm a sweater, so 5 is quite a lot. Yeah, and the other one is it's about sort of managing your own anxiety, because a lot of times people have had like, and I've seen it happen, almost like a panic attack at altitude, and they think that it's altitude coming on, but actually they've just gotten themselves quite worked up about something small, and you're in a different environment, so things start to snowball and get a little bit worse. But also, by the way, any questions you guys have as well about altitude, or you want to like ask me, then just try and fire them over and stuff like that, and Lauren's going to be firing them back at me. Yeah, so I think that's probably one of the most key, actually, is like keeping your mind happy and, you know, not overthinking everything when you're at altitude, because you are out of your comfort zone, but that's the whole reason that you've been there. And if you do start to have a headache or you start to feel a little bit dizzy or nauseous, just know that it's completely normal. You know, there's nothing out of the ordinary about that, and it's nothing to be alarmed about. The only thing that we do is we take an intelligent approach to it. So we think, okay, that's fine. My body's registering the altitude. I'm going to carry on doing what I'm doing, but I'm going to keep an eye on it and make sure that it doesn't actually get any worse. You know, and 9 times out of 10, if someone actually does get sick at altitude, all they have to do in order to like fix that is just look back on the previous day. Almost certainly they would have moved too quickly, or they would have not drank enough. I know John, who's on here, good friend of mine, the Great Bald Yeti training weekend coordinator for EverTrek in Wales. He was out trekking with me on the way to base camp. And on the first few days, now John's a fast walker, you know, he's one of those guys that's always first up the hill, always like powering ahead. And we were telling him, slow down, John, slow down. But it's difficult to try and do that. And yeah, and then later on in the, you know, like when you're at altitude, that quickness has already sort of, you know, made its move, and then as a result you have headaches and things like that. And he made it to base camp and he was fine and healthy. He was perhaps just a little bit rough around the edges. Then he came back with me a couple of years later, and this time he hung at the back. You know, he looked out for other people that were going slow, carried a bag when he needed to, but overall his pace was very slow, and he flew to base camp. Honestly, like when you're up high, you know, slow at the beginning is fast at the end, and that's what we're looking for. Okay, so I can see the questions are coming in now. Lauren, have you sent any to me?
I've got, well, we missed a Head Yeti question, which you might want.
Oh, have we got Head Yeti on?
Jeanette emailed us over email.
Excellent. So yeah. Oh, so Head Yeti question: 8-hour bimble in the rain or 8-hour bimble in the sun? And this is from the Head Yeti himself. then I already know. Just so you know, I'll answer on Andy's behalf, which is 8-hour bimble in the rain. Harder, and the more sort of against you the world is, the more fun he has on the trail.
Maybe like hail and storms,
yeah,
and fireballs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know, if a meteor was about to land in Brecon, Andy would run up there with a camera and take a picture. You know, he's hardcore. But no, I'm probably somewhere in the middle. I don't like the rain, but I don't like the sun either. You know, I just like it. You know, those days when you can just walk around with a t-shirt, but you're not hot, nice, you're not cold. Yeah, nice breeze, something like that. That'd be perfect for me. Yeah, so let's have a look. Jeanette over email. Wow. Any advice for those allergic to sulfur drugs like Diamox? Good alternatives. Now, yeah, that is tricky. So yeah, you obviously cannot take Diamox then, because that'll make you quite ill when you're on the mountain. So your best, and now Diamox, remember, is I've been to base camp 4 times, and I've never used Diamox. I went to Kili once and I used it. So it's not always required. So your first steps are, you want to rely on pace, hydration, and mindset. And those 3 things are going to be far more effective at keeping you healthy at altitude than Diamox. Now, there are some alternatives. Now, there are some herbal alternatives that you can try. I can email you the names of them because I can't recall them off the top of my head. People say a lot of garlic helps as well. So I will find out the names of these alternatives and I'll email them to you. But I don't think there is another drug other than Diamox that really, that's like a chemical prescribed drug that you can take. But definitely, yeah, don't take that. Don't take Diamox when you're up there. But like I said, the first 3 things you do, pace, hydration, and mindset, are the 3 things that will keep you healthiest when you're at altitude. Okay, having a look at this. So Jerome has said, Dave, can I mention the effects of alcohol at altitude? Yes, so we recommend being teetotal. You can have some beers in Kathmandu at the beginning, and when you get back, you can probably even sneak a beer at Namche on your way down as well, because you're already going to be fully acclimatized. You're going to come down from much higher, so it's going to be safe at that stage. But particularly when you're on your way up, you don't want to drink alcohol at all. When I said that, with altitude, what it does is, as your body's going through those changes, it'll naturally dehydrate you. Adding alcohol into that mix, like, it turbocharges the dehydration process, counter affects any water that you've drank. I always say to people, the main thing you want to try and avoid when you're at altitude is being dehydrated and a headache. Anybody that's ever had 1 too many beers on a weekend knows that dehydration and a headache is par for the course. So yeah, not only can it actually bring on the symptoms of altitude sickness, it can mimic the symptoms of altitude sickness. So you're not effectively managing your body there. So definitely we recommend 0 alcohol on the trip. But, enjoy an Everest beer on the way down as a celebration. And when you're in Kathmandu, let your hair down, have fun. Excellent. Let's have a quick look. So we got some more here. Ramona Usher had the strangest experience of altitude. She has a heart condition, lost 1 stone while she was there, was the first to have low oxygen, lost 1 stone in the month coming home. Wow, that's amazing. I've not heard of that, to be honest. Although I think you mentioned it before, where the weight loss continued when you were coming back. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Pretty rare, I'd say, because most people will lose weight when they're trekking at altitude, but as soon as they get back to Kathmandu, they'll start putting those pounds back on. And normally the weight loss is just related to, normally in most, you won't be burning thousands of calories for 11 days in a row. So yeah, you'll lose weight just due to the exercise that you're doing. But no, that is pretty interesting. Let's have a quick look now. Eat those ginger sweets to help with nausea. Yeah, they do say ginger and garlic helps with altitude as well. It's one of those things that, I don't know the actual, if there's any science behind it, but it's prevalent in the mountains. So I'll drink it a lot, like ginger tea, garlic soups and things like that. They make such a big difference. Let's have a quick look. Dawa Tashi Sherpa. Yeah, so Dawa Sherpa is really experienced climber. Everest summiteer, has a great story as well. And his thing, garlic soup and popcorn is best. Yeah, popcorn I think is good. Things like popcorn and snacks and things like that really help keep the energy levels up as well. And that's from an Everest summiteer as well, so that makes a big difference. Yeah, a lot of you are loving the idea. What about coffee and salt in regards to dehydration? So coffee and salt on your food is fine. I think the salt and things like that you intake, it's probably going to be mostly replacing salt that you've lost through exercise during the day. So you're not going to be having an excess of salt anyway. And it probably has some beneficial effects with regards to cramping and things like that. If you're on about sort of hydration salts and stuff like that, I think that makes a big difference. So, I'll always bring some like Baroccas and hydration salts to put in my water at the end of a hike, just to replenish what I've lost. Coffee's fine. The odd coffee is not a problem, because you're not going to be drinking huge quantities of coffee. It's probably going to be 1 in the morning, 1 in the evening, maximum 2-3 cups a day. As long as you're drinking the required amount of water, coffee's fine. I know Head Yeti Andy would not be able to cope on the mountain without coffee. Or in life, actually. Yeah, he's a coffee connoisseur. Let's have a quick look. Shane Ryan, dude, I'm not getting to base camp and not cracking open a beer. Yeah, I've seen it done, you know, and you're all adults, you know, so you guys do whatever you need to do. Just, you know, don't get drunk. That's fine. One beer you could probably get away with, although I still don't recommend it. But yeah, you do you, Shane. You do you. Just take care of yourself. Let's have a quick look. John Adams, I don't recommend coffee on your food. Can get a little soggy.
I was thinking the exact same thing.
Well, you
said it.
Did I say?
And I feel like you paused as well, like you knew it, but you're like, I'm not.
Did I? Yeah, I can't actually remember doing that, but yeah. So yeah, one thing I also want to talk about trekking at altitude as well is you know, protecting your skin and your brain from the sun. It's one thing that I think perhaps doesn't get talked about a lot with altitude, but it's certainly very real. And those of you that have read John Krakauer's book Into Thin Air will certainly be aware that he was worried and suffered from sunstroke because of the intense rays at high altitude. Again, the higher in altitude you go, the more strong and powerful the sun's UV rays are. So not only will you actually get sunburned a lot easier, believe it or not, you can get sunburned at base camp, especially with the glare off the glacier. But also it's about, you know, wearing your hat, keeping your head covered at all times. It will make a big difference. And again, I've seen people panic and start to worry about whether or not they're experiencing altitude, when in actual fact, it's probably a little bit of, you know, too much sun involved, you know, maybe not as far as like heat stroke, but definitely along those lines where they've been in the sun all day, they haven't had their head covered, and they've started to feel a little bit unwell because of it. A really experienced guide of ours, Nima, and I know John will be able to do this because he was with Nima and myself when we were trekking in October to base camp. His biggest thing was keep your chest covered and keep your head covered. And he's born and bred in the Khumbu. So like his advice for, you know, being healthy and, you know, surviving at altitude is, yeah, is key. So yeah, keep your chest covered and keep your head covered. I know buffs as well do like a UV protection buff as well. So yeah, they can be pretty good. They can be pretty good. Let's have a look. Protect your brain, or did I hear that wrong? No, Leah, you heard it right. Yeah, protect your brain. Yeah, exactly what I said. You know, you might get you know, keep your head covered because the effects of the UV rays can make you pretty unwell. Oh, Ramona's come up with another good point. Face buff in the Khumbu Valley for Khumbu cough. Again, that's what it's all about. You've heard about the Khumbu cough. I always joke that Andy's had Khumbu cough for the last 12 years. I think he went to Nepal, got it, and now it's with him for life. But yeah, it's about just keeping your chest covered, and, you know, perhaps even having the buff up over your nose, particularly in Ferice. So on your way back, when you're actually in the Ferice Valley, it's like a giant wind tunnel. It's got mountains on both sides. Ferice sits in the valley, and the wind just powers down there. It's not too bad if it's at your back, but if it's face on, you know, that can give you a bit of a bad chest and, you know, make your lips crack and things like that. So yeah, I definitely have about 4 buffs with me whenever I go, and I got one on my head, one on my neck, one on my mouth, you know, one on my wrist as like a sweatband, that type of thing. So yeah, Haley has said, any tips on sun protection at altitude that doesn't make you feel hot when walking, or running into the eyes, etc.? Any sunglasses needed? Yeah, so definitely you need sunglasses. Personally, I think with the sun protection, I get factor 50 or total sunblock, you know, that's got like multi-spectrum protection. So just the best one I can find, basically. And then if I do put it on my forehead or my head or something, then I'll put the buff over the top of it. And then that tends to absorb a lot of the sweat and stuff like that anyway. But sunglasses are definitely needed. You'll be straining your eyes so bad. So because the sun is very bright, particularly, it's not too bad in the lower altitudes where it's green and lush. But when you certainly get to sort of above Dingboche, you get into very rocky glacial terrain there. And it can reflect in your eyes. And, you know, I don't think you'd ever really get snow blind or anything like that on the way to base camp, but you certainly can get like strained eyes. I recommend Julbos. They are considered, I think, the best sunglasses for high altitude. I bought a pair and I've had them for several years now, and they're brilliant. I've used them on Kili and multiple times in EBC, so definitely. But to be honest, I mean, they are quite expensive. Any sunglasses are better than no sunglasses. But yeah, I think the Julbos, if you want some really good ones that are specifically designed to protect your eyes at altitude. Sinead, what support, advice, help is on offer from the Altitude Centre through EverTrek? Ah, excellent. Yeah, so we have hooked up with the Altitude Centre. There's some really interesting stuff coming out of their research. And for years and years, even I've repeated this advice that it's not really possible to prepare yourself for altitude before arriving at altitude, other than keeping yourself fit and healthy. But actually, they've done a lot of research into the science behind it. And there are certain things that you can do, even if it's just, it lets you know a little bit more about how your body results to altitude. So I think that the main thing to do is when you go there, they'll put you on simulation, like altitude simulation masks, and they'll get it while you're at rest and while you're exercising, and they'll take measurements and they do some fancy science and basically tell you things you could do to improve your bodily function so those numbers increase. Also, I think at the very least, you'll get peace of mind. You'll know exactly how you feel at altitude, what to expect. So when you go there, you'll be like, ah, I know that. That's what they've told me. So yeah, you know, that's really good. But drop them a message anyway, because they are offering free training plans as well. They concentrate a lot on fitness and specific training that you can do for altitude, you know, to keep your body strong and healthy. So yeah, get in touch with those guys. They're really good. You can do it via the members area as well on the website. Check it out. Let's have a quick look. Yeah. Right. Okay. So yeah, some good recommendations on the sunscreen, factor 50 always. Do people wear Legionnaire caps? What's a Legionnaire cap?
I looked it up.
It's at the back, isn't it?
Yeah, I haven't seen one since I was at school.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the cap with like the
long bit of
material
fabric
down the back.
Oh, yeah.
Your neck.
I wore one. Are they called a Legionnaire cap? Yeah, I bought one from Buff. Yeah, I wore one. It used to drive me mad though, because it like crinkles around your ear and it's quite loud. So I bought like a bit of a bucket hat from OR Outdoor Research. They do a Helios sun cap, which is breathable. It keeps the sun off your eyes as well, and it's actually wide enough that it covers the back of your neck. I get a little bit of stick from wearing it, you know, like I look like the guy from Jumanji and stuff like that, but that's fine. It doesn't bother me. But yeah, you can wear one if you want. Yeah, they're absolutely, you know, brilliant. Anything that keeps the sun off you is good, because, you know, I've got sunburn on my way up to Namche one day on the back of my neck, and that sucked because I had sunburn, and then 2 days later it was like -10. You know, so it was just weird to be cold and burning at the same time. So Ramona has a question. So she brought way too many clothes, but in particular fresh socks for each day, and then extras. She was reading about just reusing socks, but was always told to have fresh ones. So right, I bring a pair for every day, but I don't bring extras. And if you buy the merino wool pair, they tend to be sort of antimicrobial and they stay fresher for longer and things like that. I also find that, you know, if you wear a pair one day, take them off, put on another pair, take them off, put on another pair, and then go back to the first pair, they're pretty much fresh. You can also, when we have acclimatization stops at Namche and Dingboche, if the sun is out, you know, you can soak your socks in like some soapy water and let them dry out on a rock somewhere, you know, and they'll be clean and fresh. So yeah, definitely don't need to like overpack. Every time I've gone to base camp, I've got my bag to under 15 kilos and I carry everything that I need. Maybe with a bit of cheating, perhaps I do pack my pockets with stuff before my bag gets weighed, but essentially, yeah, you don't need you know, like 15 pairs of socks for 11 days of hiking, for instance. Nice. Andrew Duncan doing Kili in March. Awesome, mate. Awesome. You're going to have a wicked time. I did Kili in February. It was the last normal thing I did before lockdown, weirdly enough. Yeah, it was an amazing, epic day. Summit day, wow, it'll blow your mind. I'm not. That is a day to remember. Oh, Jerome has asked, can Fee give us a wave on camera? Jerome, where were you? We had Fee on at the beginning for a full yeah, but she's coming back around. So Jerome, the lovely Fee. So yeah, if you go back to the beginning, you'll see Fee was on here for about 10 minutes or so. We did a little quick fire and stuff like that. So awesome. Yeah, people mentioning that, yeah, Sinead and that they wore each pair twice. Yeah, that's fine. To be honest, the normal rules of like social etiquette don't apply in the mountains. You can double wear boxers, double wear socks, anything like that. The ambient smell in any one lodge is about the same anyway, so you won't stand out. So Hillary Calderwood, what height do people tend to start feeling sick? Okay, so to be honest, not everyone will feel sick at all, but I suppose it's what, when can you expect to start to look out for the symptoms of altitude sickness? I would say from around Namche. So normally when people get to Namche, that's the point where you're going to start to notice the altitude. So, if you run up a flight of stairs or you're walking around Namche, it's going to be tiring more so than at sea level. And then the acclimatization day on Namche is when we go up to the Sherpa Museum, up to Everest View Hotel, and then we come back down to Namche. And usually around about that time is when you'll start hearing a few complaints about altitude and things like that. So yeah, but again, it's all about hydration, nutrition, and keeping a positive mindset, and that'll make a huge difference for you. But yeah, probably around about Namche and above. But it can happen anywhere. We've seen people be totally fine and start to feel a bit unwell on the way down, and usually that's as a result of not quite following the rules of hydration, because I know it sounds easy, but it's actually really hard, every day to drink like 4 or 5 liters of water. You feel like a basking shark just filtering this stuff through you. But it is absolutely key. Let's have a look. Ramona, lads and lasses, could we get some trips going with open travel corridors, even if not high altitude? You're going to, yeah, I thought you were going to Wales, Ramona. Did you go to Pen y Fan and do some climbing and stuff like that? Yeah, for the EverTrek guys, unfortunately, we're going to stick to the high altitude stuff, and yeah, no trips to Mykonos for us, I don't think. But who knows, maybe when we're sort of approaching 50, 60, 70, we might start going to like more like beach holidays and stuff, and we're staying at sea level. Yeah, we got some people here saying started at about 4,000 meters. Diamox sorted it completely. Diamox can really make a big difference. There's a lot of opinions about Diamox and things like that. My recommendation is go to see a travel nurse at a travel clinic like Nomad. Get the advice from those guys directly. They're used to prescribing it. They know what it does. They know what side effects it can have, and they'll make sure that you're doing it. If you are using it, it's gonna be good for you. It definitely can make a big difference. I mean, I've never used it in Nepal, but when I was on Kilimanjaro, there was one day where we went up to the lava tower, and it made a big difference. So I was feeling I wouldn't even go as far as to say I was sick, but I definitely noticed that I wasn't quite my usual self. Was a bit slow, a little bit of a headache, a little bit of sort of dizziness, and yeah, I took Diamox and felt fine. Mark 50, not offended at all. To be honest, yeah, that's why I added 60, 70, 80 on there. And I was talking about myself, not anyone else. My old man made it to base camp when he was 61. So yeah, age is but a number. It's all about the individual. Excellent. Kili is higher than EBC. Ramona, yeah. So the summit of Kilimanjaro is about 5895. Everest base camp is 5365, give or take. It's on an active glacier, so it does move by a few meters all the time. So Kili is a lot higher, yes. But Kili tends to be, it's hard to compare. It really is apples and oranges, but I would say just on a difficulty level, summit day on Kili is a lot harder than any day on the classic EBC trip. Not necessarily because of like how physically tough it is. It's just a combination of things like the altitude, feeling a little bit tired for lack of sleep, and it's dark and a bit cold and things. So all of those things sort of make things a little bit tougher. So yeah, hopefully that answered your question, Ramona. Excellent. Have I got any more, Lauren? Have I missed any more questions?
I was actually done. From Leah, Haley, Ali.
So Ali, in your experience, does altitude tend to come on all at once, or is it a slow climb to feeling awful? In my experience, it tends to be, it's strange. I think people announce it all at once. They suddenly go quite fast downhill. But actually, when you look at that person and talk to them, and you look at what they've been doing in the few days leading up to that, almost always there's some signs there that, they weren't drinking enough, or maybe they were a bit quick on one day and they were rushing. So usually there's some telltale signs in there, the previous 24 hours as to why they're feeling pretty unwell now. I think that, yeah, it's one of those things that it can hit you like that, but the signs are usually there beforehand, and it is completely manageable. Feeling the effects of altitude on mild altitude sickness doesn't actually mean the end of your trip. All it means is that we got to make some adjustments. We got to look after you a little bit differently. You know, make sure you're drinking, maybe put you onto Dimox if you're not on it already, and monitor your pace and things like that. The guides in Nepal are fantastic. They know better than anyone how to look after you. The guides in Tanzania, they're awesome. They know how to look after you. So no matter where you go, they'll basically, your guide is your first point of contact. You talk to him or her, you let them know how you're feeling, and they'll look after you. Let's have a look now. So are there any issues with going to altitude more than once in a fairly short time period? I think no. I think if anything, that would probably be a benefit. You know, so if you went up to and reached altitude, then come back down and then went back up again, your body would probably retain some of the acclimatization benefits from your previous one. But it doesn't mean that you can assume that you'll be okay. You know, you still have to follow the rules, monitor your pace, drink lots, look after yourself, stay positive, listen to your guide. You know, so as long as you do all of those things every time you go to altitude, then yeah, you'll be fine. Let's have a quick look. How low can your oxygen levels get before you are in trouble? That is a little bit dependent on the individual. So oxygen levels, one thing that we take into consideration, that, you know, they're an important thing, but we also need to factor it into certain other things. How is that person feeling? Are they exhibiting any symptoms? You know, if my oxygen gets to 70, it might make me quite unwell. Your oxygen might go to 60 and you might still be okay. Although that would be an extreme low, but just as an example. I think, you know, most of the time on an EBC trip, my oxygen level, maybe in the high 70s, high to mid 70s, maybe it was a bit lower on Kilimanjaro, and I'm totally fine. But then my father, for instance, when he went there, he was, I think, in the high 60s. So, and he felt the same as me. You know, it was just how our bodies react to that low oxygen that really makes the difference. But it is an indicator. So if you are feeling unwell, you have your oxygen checked, it's low. Okay, well, that's two indicators. You're feeling unwell, then what are your symptoms? You know, do they match things that we expect to see with altitude? And that's how we go forward. It's a very methodical way that we deal with it to look after you. Let's have a look now. I think that's pretty much it, right? Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I know the questions are going to keep coming, but yeah, guys, it's been really great. Andy will be back next week. Yeah, so I'll have someone to talk to in the other room as usual. But no, it's been really good. Hopefully you guys have found this helpful. Anything else that you need to know, obviously, like we always say, we'll get back to you in the comments. Drop us an email, drop us a message. Yeah, and hopefully we'll speak to you soon. Anyway, from me, Fee, Lauren, Andy during his high altitude training, we'll speak to you soon. All the best, guys. Bye.